Jewish life cycle has a lot of traditional celebrations. We know an 8-day-old baby, we circumcise. Then we have the BOMBSHELL at the age of 3, the cutting of the hair. We have bar mitzvah, we have for the girl the bat mitzvah, and so on. But there's one ceremony, one celebration which is less known, and that's called the Areinführen in Cheder. Introducing a little boy to Cheder, to Hebrew school, to Talmud Torah. I mean, I don't mean now the organizations, the different schools with those names, but I'm talking to bring a child into study Torah. And that's called Areinführen in Cheder. And it comes with very specific customs related to the parsha of this week. Stay with us and we will discuss it. But first of all, as we said yesterday, let's continuously thank Hashem for all the miracles. Together, chapter 100. Mizmor lesoido, rila adonai kol haaretz. Ivdu es adonai b'simcha b'oilef adonai b'rnan aduk adonai Elohim. Hu asanu v'lo nachlam v'tzoi marisa b'yishor b'soido. Chatziroiso b'si lehoido lebach shemoi ki toi v'adonai li'olam chazdoi v'yadoi v'odoi remunasoi. And obviously that is give some tzedakah. Areinführen in Cheder. Introducing a little boy for the first time officially to learn Torah. Obviously, what do we start with? With Aleph base. So there are different customs. The child is brought enveloped in a talis, completely closed up. He doesn't see where we take him, bring him into the classroom. The teacher sits him on his lap. Yes, we still can do that. And then the teacher gives the child the Aleph base with honey written on it, with honey on it, the lick of the honey, and say the letters of the alphabet. And he's been given different texts to read from. One of them is the beginning of the parsha of this week, Vayikra. Torah says, Vayikra and Moshe, and he called to Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem Elov Moed Moed, and God spoke to him, and he gave him all, goes on with the laws of different offerings. What's unique in this word Vayikra, that Vayikra, which means, and he was called, God called him, the last letter is an Aleph, and it's a small Aleph. The print of the Aleph is smaller than the rest of the word. Why? So there's an interesting explanation of the Baal HaTurim that says there is Moshe Rabbeinu was going to write the Vayikra without the Aleph, which is Vayikar. Vayikar means suddenly, like unexpectedly. Just happened, God happened to be speaking to him. Vayikra is more direct, more intimate, more personal. So Moshe Rabbeinu was, in his humility, didn't want to make such a big fuss about the fact that God is constantly speaking to him. He wanted to make it more that it's like an occasional event. So he was going to write Vayikar. As it says by Bilam, the Gentile prophet, there it says Vayikar. Therefore, God says, I'm sorry, you will write the Aleph, Vayikra, because that's our relationship. So Moshe Rabbeinu wrote it a little smaller, should be less visible. Interesting. In Divrei Yomim, when he lists the order of the creation of man, there it says Adam is the first man, then comes Shes, and then comes Enosh. Interesting, the Aleph of Adam is larger. Moshe Rabbeinu's is smaller, Adam Rishon's is larger. It's not an accident. It's very, very telling. Adam Rishon, who was Yitzir Kapav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God made him. God formed him by hand. God took earth from the mountaintop and created a form and then infused it in life. He felt self-importance. I am God's gift to the world, so to say. I am actually made by God. So there was an element of pride. Now this pride is what caused his downfall. Moshe Rabbeinu, on the other hand, came to rectify that mistake of Adam. Moshe Rabbeinu, as it says, was the most humble individual. Now, humility doesn't mean thinking I'm worthless, I'm useless, I'm nobody. Moshe Rabbeinu knew that he is God's emissary, God's messenger, he's the teacher, he's the Rabbi of the whole generation. But yet he felt and he said, if somebody else would have been given by God those qualities, could have done better than I did. So while he knew who he was, knew his qualities, he didn't attribute it to his own person. Where Adam took it to himself. When we introduce a little child to Judaism, we have to tell him, you're important, God speaks to you, but remember, be humble. Mashiach has that very same quality.